Hello and welcome to SHOWstudio Post, our new series that condenses a panel of experts into a 5 minutes, 6 minutes panel. We just discussed with a panel of students the new Hedi Slimane for Celine men's show. So actually it's the first men's show for Celine by Hedi Slimane and for Celine at all. We have discussed the show, the casting, the modernity of the styling and the clothes. And so I would like to ask this to my panel. Did we like the show? Yes or no, and why? And did we feel it was relevant to what you expect to see from Hedi Slimane?
No, I think that I didn't love it. I love Hedi, and I think that sometimes people are a little bit hard on him and expect him to fill the shoes of Phoebe Philo exactly how her Celine was, and I don't think that's fair to expect of him, but I expected more from him as Hedi. And I think that some of the decisions from the casting to the similarity in silhouettes and fabrications to his previous collections left me underwhelmed and left me wondering if I was watching a show rather in 2008 than 2019. And I'd hope for future collections that there's a more diverse casting, a more worked out collection, because I think that would just leave it at much more of a complete look.
I was very underwhelmed by the show. I think, especially in the context of the shows that had been previous to it, especially in London, where you had a lot of young designers that had a lot to say, and I think those shows were more successful in moving the audience. And I think after watching the show live, my initial reaction was just that I didn't necessarily feel moved by it. Not to say that you always have to be moved by fashion, but I think at its best, it tells a story, it says something about the current climate that we're in. I didn't necessarily feel like the collection was reflecting on our times, and maybe that is more of a reflection of the objective that he's been given by LVMH to potentially make more of a profit rather than thinking creatively about how can we push fashion and how can we change it. And so I think we unfortunately maybe saw a little bit more of the same.
I really liked some of the new cuts that Hedi presented in this collection. I thought the new tailoring was quite different, even in a season that was so full of tailoring. I thought that his pants were more relaxed. I thought his jackets were longer and more wearable and comfortable and maybe kinder to men who do wear them. And also I think it had an element of androgyny, not necessarily femininity, but androgyny to it, which was quite nice. So overall, I really liked it.
I thought it was nice, and we've got to have perspective. It was a nice collection for Hedi, but I don't think it was Celine. I think Celine had so much potential in terms of menswear and where it could go, especially when you look at what Phoebe did and where menswear is now. When you look at brands like Loewe, JW, I think there's so much fluidity within menswear that could have been translated into a new Celine line, and that wasn't really harnessed. And yet again, the casting was really poor. I think it's a poor decision. Like, if you look at the press that it got from the last show, it was an obvious choice to make a more diverse cast, and it just didn't happen, and I don't know why. And does that suggest that we're stuck in the past, like in 2008?
Thank you, panel. And I'm not surprised to hear these things. And even if I think Hedi is the consummate marketeer, and I guess he knows what he's doing, and I guess he knows where commerce will go with the show, I do think that people, especially young people, will continue challenging him on his casting, his very focused vision that doesn't really move forward. And I also have a lot of respect for him as a designer, and so sometimes I also wonder, will we do what he did for men's fashion when he did Dior the first time? You know, will he surprise us more next time? So don't forget to go and watch the full panel, which will tell you more about this, and see you soon with Couture. Bye-bye.